I'm a lecturer in Natural Resource Management and Extension here at the University of Sydney. And for a large part of my academic career, I've been looking at, strategies that integrate conservation and production. In particular, the commercial use of native species. So looking at kangaroo was a logical thing to do. Normally, predator and prey relationships would keep a herbivore like kangaroos under a reasonable population, but with the lack of predators, their numbers can increase quite quickly, and then when they're in too larger numbers and the landscape is drying, then they can have a really damaging effect both on farmers and on native vegetation and other native animals. They're inhabiting the same landscape as nature conservation and farming. They do well on farmland because there's good green pick to eat and there's watering points to get water from, and so their range is bigger now than it was previously. And so they do compete with domestic animals, and they also compete with other native animals for feed. I'm particularly interested in those farmers that are managing for our landscape. So they're people that really recognise that dry periods are a part of our landscape and a part of reality, and that rather than putting their hand out for a handout when a drought's on, they're planning with the expectation of a drought. They're managing well, they've still got feed in their paddocks even though we're in the height of droughts, and that's where all the kangaroos are, and they can't easily manage kangaroo populations. They can manage their domestic animals, but they can't manage the impact of native animals such as kangaroos. Kangaroos will move to where there's feed, and so that's a huge disincentive for farmers to be conservation-oriented managers, and that's where it really causes the damage from my perspective. The presence of predators in the landscape is really important, and because we keep dogs out because they damage sheep, we've lost the predator. So unless there's a human predator presence, kangaroos can just settle in and really cause damage. A well-regulated, managed harvest that creates a predator in the landscape will have both a commercial benefit to the harvester, an indirect commercial benefit to the farmers, but also an overall benefit because the kangaroo numbers will be moving more and they will be less destructive as a result. I'd like to see the industry working more closely with farmers and farmers working more closely with the industry. One way to do that is through collaborative approaches. So in a local area, having a group of landholders banding together and help to manage the roo resource, if you like, working closely with a kangaroo processor, and have perhaps the professional shooters that are the kangaroo harvesters also playing a role with the farmers in managing other vertebrate pests. I think consumers have got a very strong, favourable view of farmers, and so the industry working closely with farmers and so that they're doing it for mutual benefit will spread the legitimacy of the industry to the agricultural sector, and I think that would be better for the industry. The meat gets very closely inspected. The food safety of the industry is very high, probably higher than a lot of other meat industries because it's so heavily regulated. So I think that consumers can feel confident that the kangaroo that they eat is very safe. The potential for increasing domestic consumption is there. It's a very good meat. If you learn how to cook it, it's fantastic to eat. I see great potential for the industry to expand, but never to the point where it threatens the sustainability of the populations, because it's going to be regulated by the quota system. A well-conducted, accurate, precise, quoted, governed industry being a predator in the landscape. That's the best solution to this issue. Using a valued animal as a resource and valuing its place in the landscape.